Meeting for Monday, May 27th.
Thank you, folks.
Remind everyone that this meeting will be recorded for public viewing and broadcast. Could I have a motion to adopt the agenda for tonight's committee before meeting? So moved by Councilor Thorne, seconded by Councilor Bannister. Questions for motion? No questions for motion. All in favor? Recommended. Motion carried. Reminder that there's conflict of interest forms in the middle of the table. Please fill it in. If there's something on the agenda that you have a conflict on, pass it to the clerk's office. With that, we'll move on to item number 4, new business presentation of the 2024 summer programming and participation. Well, Massimo.
All right. Seems like yesterday that I was here doing the 2023 summer programming, so it's been officially almost or over a year actually since I started. So,
Wow.
all right. So today I'm going to be discussing 2024 summer programming. I will be doing the first part of it. Katie will then be doing 250 Canada stuff, and Martin will be finishing off. So we can start with the first slide. This is just the overview. I'll be going over the Participation Community Challenge and the summer programming events. This is more of my stuff here. So you can go to the next slide. All right, so June is Participation, as you all know, because you guys are all sending me videos. By today, some people got an extension, so everybody can get an extension. There's no stress on that. But the grand opening event is officially on the 8th. We're just going to have something a little bit smaller than last year. We're going to have basically, which is, what do I call it? Walk for prizes. So basically every lap of the wetland trail, you'll have a submission for the draw at the end of the day. We're not going to have anything as big as a kayak given out, but we're going to have big prizes like $50 gift cards and stuff like that. So we're going to try to incentivize people to come for that. We have daily pickleball, learn to play is coming back, but just with baseball because of the popularity of soccer and pickleball. They weren't too great. Baseball was really popular. So we have actually about 6 or 7 kids every Saturday coming for the Learn to Play baseball clinics. Daily pickleball, always very popular. We actually have a tournament on the 29th. I have 10 of 12 spots filled for that. We have daily fitness classes, Monday Fun in the Sun. So my employees are actually meeting up with Here We Grow. They're playing with the kids outside. We have kayak excursions with the adults, 9 a.m. every Thursday, 3 p.m. for the kids. The adult kayaking excursions filled up within 4 hours of our Facebook post. I actually have a wait list of 15 people now. So I might actually add a day for that. It's more about my availability at that point. Wednesday morning group walks. It's actually Monday, Wednesday, and Friday now. Thursday evening group walks, those are no longer available because of the popularity of the Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We want to dedicate it to that. Donna might still be taking people out for Thursday evening walks. They just won't be as organized as the Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Friday parent and taught walks are going to be going forward with the BGC. They'll be running that one. Yoga classes ongoing both Wednesday morning, Wednesday night, and Thursday night. Pickleball tournament, as mentioned, ladies night golf. We'll be doing something with them. I'm still chatting with Holly about that. Closing ceremony at the end on the 29th. And I think there's also, not in this, but I'm going to be organizing a 3-on-3 basketball tournament for the 15th, the Saturday. So that there's not probably going to be too many teams, but we're going to try to get about 6 teams, co-ed 16 plus. Girls high school basketball team, boys high school basketball team. I have a few people already interested. And I know a lot of the coaches and people from the Thursday night basketball group, they're going to be joining. So I'm hoping to have about 6 to 8 teams for that. So lots going on. And actually I have the schedule here if you wanted to pass that around and take a look. But yeah, we can move on to the next slide. I actually think I go a little bit more. Oh, never mind. Okay. Miscellaneous summer programming. So June 27th, we'll have the official pool opening. We'll have a pool party from 12 to 2. The pool will be open 12 to 6 that day. So the morning we'll be probably finishing up some of the organization stuff with swimming lessons, but at 12 o'clock we'll have a barbecue. BGC will be coming and actually cooking for everybody, and my kids will be there for a really good time. So if you guys aren't working, come on down. It'll be a lot of fun Thursday. We got the swimming lessons registration on June 11th. We already have 81 people registered from all the daycares. So we are expecting another 100, not 100, another 80 or so to sign up on that day. Bi-weekly youth excursions, so those will be moving forward through June. We obviously have the youth kayak excursions, but in July and August, we're gonna be adding bike runs, hikes. Because of transportation issues, we might just keep that within Salisbury, but we'll see if I can get some volunteers. We can try to do something about that. Kayak expeditions, July 9th and 20th. We'll try to do the Petitcodiac River. It might be a little too low. We'll likely have to move it over to Irishtown just because of the lack of rain we've been getting. Those will all be organized, and Petty River would be really nice. But Irishtown might be a requirement just based on the level of the water. Summer camps, we have 3 paid weeks and 6 free weeks. I actually have the full schedule here. I don't know if you guys wanted me to go through it, but I will really quickly. Week 1, we have sports camp. Week 2, we have the great outdoors. So that'll be a lot of hikes and walks and stuff. Week 3 is a paid week, and that's Fit Week. So we are going to Sky Zone on the Friday, Fit Rocks on the Thursday. And I know the girls that I have so far, Kayla and Sydney, are planning a bunch of fun stuff. Both the Monday through Wednesday where we don't have transportation, but also some additional things on Thursday, Friday when we do have transportation. Week 4, we have arts and crafts. Pretty classic, typical. That's actually tends to be our most popular one, which is really nice to see because even though we're the most active community, apparently we're pretty artsy and crafty as well. So week 5, we have Olympic Games week. And then another paid week for week 6. We have Splash Week where we'll be going to Centennial Pool. We'll be going to Magic Mountain as well. And I think we have some time for another thing on Thursday that we haven't quite decided yet. But Monday through Wednesday, we'll be at the, maybe not at the park, but we'll be doing slip and slides and stuff like that. Week 7 will be community days, so we won't have camp. We'll be prepping for that. Week 8, and by the way, community days, Katie will be talking about. Week 8, we have Science Week, which is also a popular week. We have a bunch of sciencey stuff. I don't really remember what Sydney and Kayla had planned. Week 9, we have Animal Week, and I think we're actually going to be, was it Thursday we'll be at your farm? I think it's Thursday, and then Friday we're going to Magnetic Hill Zoo. We actually have a couple more guests coming in. We have bird watchers coming in, and we're also trying to get beekeeper and therapy dogs, but not for therapy kind of thing. Yeah. So we're trying to get a big group of dogs coming in. They're therapy dogs. I hope we're not taking them from people that need them more, but we're going to try to get that group in as well.
What do you get for a beekeeper? Do you know it?
Marty?
I know Matt from MB Gold.
Yeah, you'll have to talk to, Hicks. Boyd and, Calvin Hicks.
Okay.
If you want to email me, then.
Get that going. So that's some camps. We also have, our applications are coming to an end. We have 20 for the registration assistance grant. I haven't quite looked at them all, but we're looking at primarily sports. We have some for summer camps, some for swimming already, which is great. We have 2 for the gas equipment and tournament fund, and those were just equipment pieces. So I think we actually had soccer, shin pads, and shoes, and these were the first applications I looked at a while ago, so I don't quite remember what the second one was. But 22 applications total. I'm really happy with that. September is obviously the next intake, and we're looking forward to that. I think that's it for me. I'm going to pass along the summer camp programming, and I can take this back. Anything else from me? If you go to the next page, I don't. And we're up to Katie.
All right, thank you. Hello, everyone. So we have a lot of exciting things coming up in the summer that we've seen in past years, but this year is an exciting year with our Salisbury 250 that is going to continue to go strong throughout the summer months. So I'm sure by now you're all familiar with Salisbury 250 and some of the stuff we've done to date. So moving into the summer months, that calendar looks like June, we're celebrating sports and education. July is the Petitcodiac River, and August is early sedentary. So although we have those main central themes, we're hoping to kind of fit those into the pre-planned programming that's already kind of been discussed to help save us a little bit of time and to kind of incorporate those things that are already rich in our history today. So for June, we're hoping that our banner program will be up and running. All the banners are scheduled to be installed early June, and we can kind of announce that walking tour with a handout guide and kind of put that hand in hand with participation to kind of encourage people to go out, take a walk, learn a little bit more about our history, and also get active for purchase of action. For July, we're gonna mix that in with some of the kayaking expeditions that we're hoping to do, hence why we're hoping to have them on the Petitcodiac River. We might discuss at some other possibilities of celebrating the river if the river is too low and we can't, it's not feasible, I guess. August, when we look at early settlers, that kind of, we're hoping to go hand in hand with community days. Community days always has a theme typically associated with it. So kind of having an overarching Salisbury 250 theme is what the committee had originally set out to do. The Salisbury 250 documentary is continuing and the filming is ongoing. I think this week they're finishing the last few interviews and we'll hopefully have the first draft of that for the end of June. So move on to the next one. Canada Day, hoping to have it back at Highland Park, weather permitting. So I think Canada Day, July 1st falls on a Monday this year. So I'm hoping the weather looks a little better than it did last year. Last year, it was kind of rainy leading up to it, so we unfortunately had to move it and kind of adjust our plans. But this year, we're hoping for Highland Park. So kind of same deal as we've seen in past years with the free barbecue, cakes and lawn games, door prizes, and of course the coloring contest that is always a fan favorite in the town. So for the block parties, we are welcoming back the block parties this year because of such great comments we've heard from last year. So this is the schedule as to date, and I will be sending out some calendar invites for all of you, so you have them locked in. So July 11th will be in Ward 1, back in Spring Garden subdivision from 6 to 7:30. So that's the same as last year. July 25th will be in Ward 2 at the Jordan. Whoop, whoop, whoop. We did have to adjust the time for this one. So this one's about an hour earlier. We're looking at 5 to 6:30 p.m. So still evening so people can make it after work. But this kind of works a little bit better for the Jordan schedule. When we're in Ward 3, we'll be August 1st. We'll be at the Lions Pool, again, from 6 to 7:30. We'll try to have an open or free swim during that time so that we can kind of incorporate all aspects to that. And the last one in Ward 4 will be on August 8th, and we will be in the Riverbend subdivision. So we do have permission from the owner of the property on the cul-de-sac on Patriot to use their property for a bouncy castle. They actually own the property next to it as well. So we have that whole open area to set up tables on the pavement and to use that grassy lawn area for anything we might need. So the setup for this is looking about the same as last year. We have some bouncy castles coming, some more community groups than we had last year. So we're hoping to make it bigger and better this year. So attendance from all of you is definitely encouraged, especially in your ward. But obviously, we'd love to have you at all of them. So I'll be sending out calendar invites to lock that into your calendars. If you can or can't make it, just let me know and I'll make sure I have you on the list. So community days are big shebang for the summer leading up to it. As always, it's in the third weekend in August. So that falls on August 15th to 17th. We're hoping it'll line up a little bit with the schedule we've seen in years past. So that would make the Friday night our beer garden that has been incredibly popular in years past. And bringing back the long tractor races again, that had quite a bit of popularity last year. And then August 17th, we'd be looking at doing our parade followed by our market. And we have some fireworks again scheduled for that evening. And with that, I'm gonna pass it over to Margaret.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about the community garden. We did a grand opening on May 5th because we had nicer weather than we anticipated. It was originally supposed to start on the 13th. We currently have 5 beds that community members are using, and then the rest will be used by the rec staff. So I have a ton of plants going on upstairs that are being grown that will be planted. I've postponed the grand opening barbecue for the community gardens until June so that we can incorporate that into product action. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna offer from 5 till 7, it'll be like a barbecue with pop and everybody that helped with community cleanup for Earth Day. And that is part of the community garden will be invited, and also the beautification committee. And of course, you guys will also be invited as well. So I'm thinking I'll do that on the 8th and work that into our opening for participation. Then we're gonna do 4 movie nights this year. So far we have 3 sponsors, one of which is Here We Grow. And we have 2, Guardian Pharmacy is sponsoring 2 different nights, and VGC is planning to sponsor the other. So the 4 movies that we're gonna be watching this summer are Super Mario, which is going to be on July the 4th. Wish will be on July the 18th. Kung Fu Panda 4 will be August the 15th, and Garfield, the movie, will be August the 29th. So what we did was we took like 6 different movies and put it out to the public, and then we narrowed it down to 4. So that's how we chose those movies. Kayla and I we were at the bike race yesterday, so we were discussing the fact that some parents might be scrambling because school is now out on the 21st rather than the 24th. So we're just chatting about like maybe opening up an extra summer camp week. A few things that I'm gonna add to participation are we're gonna do the Monday, Wednesday, Friday Walkers Club, as Maxwell already mentioned. We're gonna do on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm gonna do small, medium, and large raid dog walks to try to socialize both people and their dogs. We're gonna do pop-ups at Sandy's to try to get more people involved in participation. On Saturday, I went to the market and I got an extra 21 people set up as individuals. Everything's a little bit different here. What else did I take care of? Oh yeah, I'm collaborating with the elementary school and SRS. We're gonna be having a picnic day, a scavenger hunt in Woodland Park, and visit to Silver Fox to do some crafts with seniors on the 19th. We touched a little bit about swimming registration, so we have what, 80 of them now, I think. We've already talked about this. Malcolm and I are going to a Atlantic Recreation Conference tomorrow, or Wednesday through Friday. I'm not gonna be doing any workshops in June due to participation because we're gonna be far too busy. But in July, I hope to do jam making with a local vendor from the market. People are talking about bath bombs and they're already out of them, so there's need to make some more. So we're gonna do that. We're doing gourmet cookies with a vendor from the market as well. So they get to make 12 giant delicious cookies with the options for Rolo, Reese's Pieces, salted caramel, and mini M&M, or a combination of whatever.
Do you need taste testers for that?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll cut some up for you. Because I usually get to make a set, so I'll keep them for you. And then there'll be an option for the people to either freeze them or bake them on site. That's all I got.
Very nice.
What's going on?
Any questions for the rec crew?
I do. So the sessions that we had with all the different wards last year were great sessions. I think the only thing that that we might have done a little bit better was we need to find a way to connect more with our residents, because we had some good numbers in some cases and very disappointing numbers in others. So I guess the question I have is, what are we doing differently this year to try to make sure that more and more residents are aware of these block parties?
Yeah, so I kind of took note of which locations had less people, and you kind of noticed there's 2 of them that are different. Those were the 2 that were most affected depending on their location. So, for example, Ward 4, we moved it up closer to that core, the village core, because I heard a lot of people say that it was a really far ways to drive just for a, hot dog. So hopefully moving that closer will kind of promote more people to come out. If it's in more like a subdivision again, people like to just come out of their houses and see what's going on. In the case last year for Ward 2, we had it at the motocross track during one of their largest events. And that kind of deterred people, I think, the amount of traffic that was going on at the same time. So that one, again, we've moved to a place where there's already residents, so easy enough for them to come out. They have family members there that can also come out and enjoy that. So I'm hoping this year the location change in some of those will help with that.
Yes, and I think you're right, and I think it will make a difference. What I heard more, from my perspective was people just didn't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and for me as well.
Yeah,
Like, there was no publication in the actual wards. So in Riverglade, for the motocross race, well, nobody out in Riverglade actually got a pamphlet to know that was going on. So that was the stopgap.
It should have. So in June last year, there was a mail out that went to every town resident within Canada Post mailing. So there's only certain things we can control. And in some we did.
But I didn't get it and I live there. Okay.
didn't get one in
So-
June?
So that's my point, like,
Okay.
maybe we were told that they were mailed,
Yeah.
but I live there and I did not get a mailing. My daughter lives there, she did not get a mailing. There are several people on the Sanatorium Road that were supposed to have gotten a mail out, and we talked about this briefly
Yeah.
last year. And the same,
Same with ours, yeah.
even in Banbury Creek, when because we were getting that feedback from the residents that they did not have the mail out or did not get the mail out, so.
And I know there's issues related to this, but just as an example, and you guys probably have better ideas than this. But is there no way that we could have some sort of, one of those great, big, huge boards that, and strategic locations a week before? You got all this traffic, people coming home, people going, if you had something within
Yeah.
the wards, so that people would say, oh, like they're driving by it and they see, oh, there's something going on, in Ward 2 or wherever it is, in addition to whatever it is that we're doing. I think that probably has some applications elsewhere as well when it comes to getting residents to know what might be available to them. And I think it's especially true outside of the village, because I think from my perception is that the people who live in the village have a better understanding of what's going on in the
In the
town.
village. and-
Right, but the people outside, they just don't, and there's probably lots of.
Because I'm just confused by that, because everything that we're doing in Ward 3 is the same in all the other wards, so why, it's not like I'm standing out at the top of the street telling people what's going on, you know what I mean, like how, I just don't know why Ward 3 would feel more, yeah, I just don't know how it feels like people are being reached differently, but they're all being reached by the same thing.
Yeah.
I just don't know, is this
But
the
yeah,
local news and views?
But you have historical involvement, but you also have, we're a rural area.
Yes, exactly.
You got
People
people
are not
that,
hanging out at the pool.
they're
People are
not,
not hanging, you know what I mean? Like, I
Okay,
think
yeah,
there's probably more opportunity within the village
to
area.
hear randomly about
Hear
it.
randomly about
Okay.
it. It's just, we just have to improve the communication to make sure that it's getting, to all of the residents in the areas. That's the point of this.
yeah.
But
Really,
it
and-
begs
and-
the question whether the block parties make sense in general, if there's enough demand to justify them.
Well, we don't know that, John,
don't-
because
no.
if people aren't
I
told,
understand.
you can't base it on how many
But-
people showed up
But
last
if you
year.
look, but if you look at the wards themselves, Boundary Creek is 15 minutes that way from the other end of that way. Ward 1,
Yeah, they're
at
large.
least
areas.
15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So
Well-
no one I know from my area was there last year's.
Were they at yours though? At your-
That was
That was.
Oh,
his.
that was yours. Oh, I'm
all the
sorry.
way at the other end.
Yeah, well, and, it's been potentially you're gonna have the same thing if people don't know. Like a lot of the people who came out in the ones that we had, they just saw something happening that day.
And
They
stopped.
came out of their houses
And the same
and,
with Boundary
and,
Creek.
and they walked over and said, oh, what's this going on?
Yeah.
And again, this is not meant as a criticism. This is
No,
an
it's not.
opportunity.
If we're honest, nobody from Ward 3 came either. There was like 10 people. there.
Which begs the question, is there demand?
I would
Is,
say.
is it actually doing whatever you're trying to accomplish?
Well, I think
That would be-
that's a great question. I would say yes and no. I think the block parties are a great idea in terms of we need to demonstrate that we're trying to do something in order to
That's right.
get residents to come.
I
But I
agree-
don't,
I
but I
agree
don't
with
think,
doing something in itself, but what is the goal to be accomplished? Doing something? Because that to me,
no,
in itself is
so,
not worth doing.
so
I think it's an opportunity for residents to get out and meet council.
Right.
But if they don't, again, if they don't know.
Oh, I agree.
Well,
It's become an annual event that becomes consistent.
Yeah.
People
It is.
start to Talk about.
Yeah.
Great words
In the
there.
outside wards, is it effective to have a single block party, or would it be better to have a couple smaller ones?
Well,
Cause
and
'cause
that's,
you get distinct communities in those wards, cause they're so
Well, that's
geographically
true.
large.
They're so
Yeah.
big.
yeah, and that was one of the things that I was gonna mention is we may need to look, and it doesn't have to be this year. But we may need to look if we want, because if you look at my ward, you're practically to Riverview, all the way practically to here. You know, and then some.
And back.
And, you know, and so, you know, are the people who were, you know, who were at the block party last year, are they gonna go to Riverbend? I don't know. It depends on the situation. So I think that having multiple events might be a good idea. But I think that we also need to have, you know, scheduled opportunities for people to be able to go and connect with us, whether it's at the Lion Center or whatever it happens to be, because we do get residents who have questions about one thing or another, you know, and, you know, if they don't come, as long as, my big thing is, if you're told that we have these things and you choose not to come, well,
Yeah,
then, you know
That's
what?
right.
I don't feel guilty about the fact that,
That's right.
you know, you made choices, and we have lots of residents who quite honestly are happy to just not hear a thing until something affects them, and then all of a sudden they want to talk to us. Right.
And I appreciate that in general, because most people don't deal with this, but they want to
Yeah.
have to.
Right.
But the gallery is a prime example,
It's like that in every municipality.
but that's my
Would
point.
you be here if you didn't have to be?
But John, my point is when I pull something and
I'm
when
just
I talk,
saying, is the block party the best approach to the goal trying to be achieved?
Yeah, maybe it's not for the outside board.
I would say this, it's not about being the best, it's one of,
It's the exact.
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
It's,
No,
You know, and I don't think we need to be looking-
Quiver.
you know, I have no problems with block parties. I think they're a great idea. And there's lots of opportunities for us if we get people there to connect with them. I just don't think it, you know, if we look at the last year, I mean, other than the block parties, we really haven't had. Unless people want to come to a
Yeah.
meeting. I can't remember, and I stand to be corrected, where we had something where we said, okay, residents can come to such and such a place. And we're gonna have a forum for you to be able to ask questions about your property taxes or the recreation master plan or our economic strategy. And I think that now that we've been around for more than a year, we should be looking at having those types of opportunities. And John, you may say, well, people won't come. But my,
Unless they don't come.
But-
Say, I don't know what the goal you're trying to achieve is being met with this kind of thing. And again, having a specific night that everyone can come state their questions, I'd argue is gonna turn into a vegetable throwing competition.
but see, John, it doesn't matter though. See, our
I think-
thing is we have to provide a venue and an opportunity for residents to come.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So,
If they don't
but-
come, that's not, they can't point the finger at us and say, council doesn't want to talk to us because there's no opportunities.
I think we have learned lessons learned. We've only done one round of these. We'll do a second round where we're trying new locations.
Yes.
I think it's very clear that the boundaries are huge.
Right.
And maybe some feedback we get around, maybe they're smaller and a couple of additional ones that maybe you do 2 or 3 in the bigger words, but. again,
Not this summer.
No.
No, no, no.
But again, I think we have to have lessons learned. It's not saying we're trying.
First time.
Yeah,
Sure, absolutely.
sure,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
it's the first time, and as we build on this,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
like, people are gonna start to look forward to, oh yeah, we
I
gotta
would.
make sure we go to the block party this
Yeah,
year.
I would state
That's
that
what you want
usually local leaders are the ones in some of those areas that do find out about it and do go, and then they spread the word to other people, so it may take time to build up like community days rather.
Yes,
I would say that, for instance, in your ward, for instance, afterwards, I've met several individuals that are more on the Riverview end of things, that are now coming to our community and participating in different things that they probably wouldn't have had that not taken place, so, you know, it may take time, but I do think it's, like anything, it's important we connect with people and
Maybe we could add free cotton candy and that might be. Cotton candy and a hot dog. They're gonna come this year.
I think Joe's son,
Joe's more like you.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
I think we can circle back on some options, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
like any way that we,
yes,
any way that we can improve any communication is a good thing.
exactly.
But even the winter time,
on the I-95.
coffee and donuts.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
Also,
Sure.
I'm curious to know if in a hall next to Mike's property, Riverbend area, I'm curious to know if it's so close to someone's residence who is well connected in that area. We're not at a random location, we're at near someone's property. They are gonna be telling their friends who are also in Riverbend. I know he has a lot of neighbors that he's friends with. So I'm wondering if that is also an opportunity.
Well, they have a whole riverbed.
Yeah,
neighborhood.
Yeah.
A better,
Yeah.
you'll already get a better turnout just by
Just
having it
because it's
here,
right there.
for sure.
Yeah, we had a good turnout at Bunker Hill
Yeah.
last year.
there was
right?
lots.
Yeah, you did.
It becomes a little isolated or, yeah, pretty much isolated
Subdivision of it.
subdivision event.
There's a reason why most of them are in subdivisions, because then we have the advantage of going
Yeah.
around with door knockers
Mhm.
and neighboring houses to
Mhm.
put something literally on their door saying, hey,
Yeah.
come across the street, we got hot dogs.
And I did not talk to the side of the.
I love it. Like everyone actually that was at Boundary Creek said, there was door knocker. We had, so that was great, but that's the point. The point is that everybody needs to get the door knocker.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah, but
and
the
I'm
practicality of.
paraphrasing that. I don't mean that literally,
Yeah,
but I'm,
cause that's like 3 more
I
steps.
don't. But I mean, you know,
Yeah.
we have to get it out there.
Because,
The
because in
communication.
terms of Boundary Creek for Ward 1, that represents maybe 10% of the households in the whole ward. I doubt it's even that.
Oh, gosh, no, it wouldn't even be that, I don't think.
Like it's,
So we'll circle back on options to promote that too, and then I would say keep those. We're not opposed to doing others, but in the fall, post summer craziness. So.
Yeah,
Well,
I
yeah,
like
like, and
summertime events.
yeah, it's just, and spreading them out through the year, like you said, like a fall event or winter events and
Coffee and
they're
donuts.
different, right?
Yeah.
S'mores.
Yeah,
Chocolate milk.
bonfires at Highland Park in front of the new amphitheater.
Okay, perfect. Any additional questions for Katie?
Yes.
Thank you very much. It's very exciting.
Great
Yeah,
job.
good job.
thank you, Katie.
All right, moving on to item number 2, multi-year grant request.
So this, I'll give a bit of context and then pass it over to Diane for the discussion on this side of things. Normally our grant policy will allow us to discuss grant requests during the budget period. We did not do that for this year's grants because we had enough to go through and deliberate with this particular budget this year. And so what we're looking for is direction. These are multi-year grant requests, meaning that insofar as council provides direction on the proposed grants and their amount, we would negotiate with the applicants and it would start in 2024. So as noted in the CRF, there are some that are kind of pending or to be expected for 2025. So this year and then moving forward would be done through the budget deliberation process. And so our suggestion is to do them all at once and then see what specific ones council may want to change. And with that, I have a conflict with one of them, so I'll step out and let you take the floor and see where we go from there. Already filled out. That's a reoccurring.
Just joking.
I'll be back.
Thanks for the warning.
So, as the CAO mentioned about seeking direction for the grants, I don't know if you guys all had a chance to take a look at, I'll just start with the first one and maybe work through it that way. Does that sound good? All right. So the first one we have on here for the grant policy, for the multi-unit is a Royal Canadian Legion branch number 31. They're requesting $8,000. This is, of course, is the, funding, and we have done in kind in the past as well as help them out with the Veterans Banner Program. Have any questions about it? If you want
I
to.
do have a question on this, and this one confuses me every year
Yep.
that we discuss it. $8,000 to cover the cost of brackets, installation, and storage. But we've bought and installed them already. Is that,
So they install more.
okay, but how
And
many, like I see 35 in this year, but only 15 in the next 2 years, and then 10 in the 2 years after that.
yeah, so what they're what we're trying to do is not necessarily have 40 every year or
Yeah.
35 every year. So the thought process behind the policy this time is to do 35, because that's what they requested again, in 2024, and then maybe say, next year, let's limit it to 15 instead of doing another 35. We've had to buy 35 additional brackets. They'll have to be installed,
Yeah,
and then the banners
The
will
the
install as well.
installation is one of the costs.
We pay, yeah, so the town has paid for the boom truck to
Yeah,
go
yeah, yeah.
install them. Some of that comes out in kind. So
Yeah, yeah.
they're not necessarily getting, they're not
It's our
getting.
public
the-
Yeah, so I'm not concerned about like, I understand the price for the 40 brackets and installs that we do. Is that 8,000 for the next 5 years, even on the year that we only add 10? Or is that amount decreasing
It's decreasing. So if you look
based on
at-
the amount of brackets that we install?
So if you look on it says, based on proposed in-kind contributions proposed in the agreement attached, so 7,000 for 2024, 75 for 2025. We're thinking that, let's face it, prices are gonna go up,
Yeah, yeah.
increase, so it will go up somewhat, but it doesn't even start at the 8,000, so that would be.
Yeah. Okay, yeah,
part of
but
the-
I guess, do we expect that it's gonna go up
It's gonna double every year. the price.
8,000 for 40 this year, and then in 5 years, it's gonna be 8,500 for 10? Is that a
I think
realistic?
the 8,500 includes the new 10 plus putting
New banners.
Installation.
installation of all of them, right?
The in-kind.
But the
I think the time and the boom truck are the majority of the cost versus
We-
the
we don't-
couple of days of.
okay, never mind,
That's what I think it is.
the installation is installing the banners on the.
Yeah,
brackets.
yeah.
Right.
We hire the.
But we
Right.
also,
Oh,
it's both,
Yeah.
and taking them down.
We don't put them up.
No,
We hire someone now, because of the boom
So
truck, they can do
Could
it.
we put them up instead?
it's much quicker and efficient and say from a safety perspective.
Cause like, we just put up the banners for the
Yeah.
grant and there were
Yeah.
like within reach of a step ladder.
These are going on the actual banners and
Rent a
to
Zoom
to
board.
actually do it in a safe fashion, Public Works determined.
It's no different than putting up.
yeah, but
Not-
for sure, if the people installing those signs had worked for municipality, they would have not have been able
We
to
talked,
do
we
it the way.
talked about this previously, the recommendation from
No,
Public
but
Works
I'm
was
just saying,
to-
if they hang the flowers and the brackets are below the flowers. So I'm trying to justify,
It's
we
like-
hang flowers, but we don't hang the banners and they're the same height.
Part of the problem is that some of those poles are further away from the road.
Right, so
So
that.
they
how do we
could
get-
see the extra
It's the
And some of them did-
it's the adjustment on each one of the brackets. It sometimes takes quite a bit of adjusting, tweaking, and we had Trevor come in and talk about this previously from a safety perspective, that you're much more comfortable having an inside.
It's-
All right, so,
When
so,
they do the baskets,
it was a
they're only
recommendation.
taking about 2 or 3 minutes to do them.
so the difference between us doing it ourselves and hiring somebody to do is probably negligible once you factor in the cost of renting a boom truck
Yeah.
and the
Yeah,
labor.
we don't
They
have-
can do it
Yeah.
so much quicker, and yeah.
Put a boom cage on your tractor and
Yeah.
be able to load her up in the air with your safety
Again,
harness. But anyway,
Yeah,
It's just
and
more of a
get your safety
and
harness
I,
stuff.
and I see what Austin says, we're gonna talk more about this, than
And
we
if
did
we
for
were
$7.5 million.
selling-
Yeah,
award.
yeah, exactly.
What's the total grant budget we have a year?
35.
35?
Yes, that's including the farmer's market 5,000, so take.
So we're not,
right off.
so with all these recommendations, just
Still
to,
not even.
we're not at the 35,000.
No, we've been
So if
below.
you look at page 4, well, I don't know what you guys think for page, but page 4 under this one. So we have 35,000 budgeted for the shared cost, and then 6,000 is confirmed in multi-year grant already. So 15,000 is being recommended in this one, which will bring us down to, where is it? There's a 10,940 will be left over if you go with exactly what's on here, plus already, what's been already allocated and.
Now, do we go through each one of these?
Yep.
plans, or-
Well, if you want to, because then the motion is for
All of them.
All of them.
unless you want to change something, so. The next one, Petty Kodiak Watershed Alliance, their request, and again, these are requests, that doesn't mean you have to give them that amount, you can set an amount. So 17,000 approximately is what they were requesting. We're recommending 2,000 per year for the 5-year commitment, to maximize town's natural assets and landscapes such as Petty Kodiak River and trails, and to increase tourism opportunities and draw visitors from the highway. That is our, for the strategic plan section. Description enhancement to water quality monitoring in the river and the former LSD of the town. So,
Why?
they're enhancing the water quality monitors throughout the whole town now.
But why?
Is it Petticodiac Rivershed Alliance?
But why do we want to monitor the enhanced quality of the water in the outside LSDs?
Because we want to maximize the town's natural assets and landscapes such as Petticodiac River trails and increase tourism opportunities and draw visitors from the highway.
By stating the quality of the water?
Making sure that our Petticodiac River and our waterfowl and our nature is wonderful.
So this
It's an
aligns
environment.
with our tourism
Yeah,
strategic
that's
plan,
the strategic plan.
basically.
But
Yeah.
what's the point of the quality assessment?
Or whether the water's safe to,
Drink?
well, to be in.
No, but like, so you don't have to have the like, don't let your dogs in the water.
Why?
Until they even report on that.
We're on a well system.
I don't know. What's the point of this? I don't
I'm just
understand.
grasping at straws.
Were they asking for 17,000 this year?
Does
Yeah.
it open up us to gain further grants?
Could.
Potentially as well, maybe on this.
Potentially,
Does it-
yeah.
Open you up to other problems for finding it?
Again, 17,000 is what the whole
Open
project.
us up to
but
get
they're
other
looking
grants. We,
at
we
that.
through
So
some of
what
these
they were suggesting,
programs
like,
with
not
with
gonna
erosion
do
and different
that.
programs, we've actually been.
You can
able
give
to-
them $100 if that's what.
We
you
given
want
them
towards
stuff in
it.
the past?
Say it again, sorry?
Have we given them?
We
credit for
have,
that?
but in the past, it's always been like a membership, so
So I
like.
think because we're
$50
not,
membership
we're
with
very
some-
unclear of the benefits,
Point.
maybe we should ask them to come in and,
I'd ask for a presentation.
Yeah.
not one.
You could.
Yeah,
just so we can understand the benefits. I mean, they came,
Supposed to ask questions right now. I don't
okay,
know
they
if
came
we
to our
should-
block party. I mean, but I think it's good to learn what they're doing and what the benefits are.
I agree. That's a great idea.
Go ahead, sir.
No, I just didn't know if we were supposed to have a motion before we ask questions. I guess we're in committee of the whole, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't understand this.
Yeah, I would like to have a presentation on that one, I think.
Yeah,
I think a
I've made a
presentation.
decision on that.
And I guess further to John's point, if we're going to test the water, are we just testing it to know, or is there an action that we want to take to find out what's there? Do we have things we want to do with it if
Right.
it comes out with a certain?
Yeah, and I guess the question I would ask is there not some other body in government that's testing water? Like, do we have to do it? Like, is
So-
no one testing the quality of the water in the Pinnacle yet?
I believe you all received copies of this along with it. This is the request. So this explains to you what they're doing.
Oh, I read it.
And the
Still don't
testing
understand
and what they
why.
need and that sort of, so it's monitoring data, like gathering data for the program, monitoring, and can't pronounce it. Cyanobacteria.
Yeah, if your dog's gonna die, cyanobacteria, so your dogs will die if they drink the water. That's the green algae, blue-green.
The dog.
You are right, yeah.
I don't feel.
But again,
So you're
why?
testing and confirming that, so they're basically testing the water throughout the entire town. As well as they have a dashboard which provides information.
Again, I'd argue if you test the water here, you've gained the test from all the other tributaries to this water. Like, it makes no sense.
I think we'll bring them in and ask.
I'm not comfortable dismissing it
Yeah.
without them coming.
Yeah.
and
I
explaining
don't
it
think we
to us.
dismiss it. I think we need more
More
information.
information.
So you're right.
I think they
You're
need to.
So we
Why?
can ask them to come.
Yeah, I think we'll do this.
So John could just look at them and say, what?
Like, that's a lot of money to ask for, so it should be.
Well, you can
Yeah,
ask.
I think our
An
recommendation
opportunity
was
for-
bring it down to 2,000. I think that's.
Well, I
Yeah,
think the 2,000
again,
was smart.
That is the total amount for the entire project. They're just wanting to see if we will collaborate with them to help them with the
Yeah.
project. So it doesn't mean they have to pay the full. You can pay $100 if you want. You can.
And once they get in and promote what they're at, what it is that they want to do, and if there's an action, there could even be something that Austin knows that could get a
Yeah.
grant in that it could lead to some tourism opportunity within the, within the
We're
thing.
finding issues within the tributaries. They want them now solved for hundreds of millions of dollars. What carries?
So we're going to ask for a presentation for Petticodiac Water.
I think that would be nice in general.
So the next one's Petticodiac Salisbury Minor Hockey Association. Their amount that they request was 5,000. We're recommending 3,000 per year in a 5-year commitment. You'll remember that council sponsored them last year for the 5,000.
For our names on the jersey, if I remember correctly,
Yep.
that were in.
Strategic plan alignment was to explore services and programs with your youth and include partnership to enhance the youth mental health and addiction services. So physical activity is part of the strategic item. Description, sponsor the annual, so that, again, to do goalie clinics, they can put on some extra goalie clinics. Operational expenses, New Jersey, when they need them. Town recommends providing a grant to this association where approximately 50% of the participants are in Salisbury, but it's not held in a town-owned facility where we provide support in kind contributions for things like facility usage rentals, like we do with the other associations.
I think it's great. I think it's great.
I like this one.
I think it's important to participate in this one. I would like, because they're quite vague on what they're doing with the money, I think it would be nice if they would do a report out on.
So when you look at the actual agreement, that's part of that it requires, much like we.
Right, we put that in the policy
It's
or
in that,
whatever.
yeah, in that agreement that they have to,
Okay.
we can ask them. to
Well,
come, we
almost-
can ask
I
them
think
to
we have to
provide,
start doing that a little more.
I think,
Auditing. Yep.
well, like it says in there, it says they're basically signing an agreement that they agree to, whatever we ask, basically. If we want them just to come make a presentation, that's fine. If you want to see their books, if you want to see a report, you can ask for that, but that's part of the signing
Yes.
of that
Be
agreement.
the town saying in the Jersey.
I don't know that they have to like come in and do a big session, but it would be nice to.
No,
see.
but like I said, that's
Well, it's
that's
nice
in
to
there as
have
an
it.
option.
Nice to know, yeah.
Yeah.
Did they host 10 clinics?
Yeah.
Like, did they buy jerseys this year? Like, what did they, what was the benefit to the kids?
So the Salisbury Farmers Market was here.
Yes.
That was part of their multi-year for their $5,000 grant, was to come speak to council. So it could have been just as easy as that. Come see, here's what we did this year, whatever. Maybe you want more. That's up to council to
Yeah,
decide.
and I think
right?
it-
But it gives that option in that agreement.
I think it's especially prudent if we're gonna commit to 5 years
Yeah.
on anything.
Yes.
I mean, unless it's one thing if it's a one-off thing and it's not a lot of money. I mean, we don't want people coming in and doing
Yeah.
tons of presentations. But if someone's asking for essentially $15,000 over 5 years, I think, it's prudent for us to be able to say, okay, well,
And
What do you-
there's
what
a
do you-
changeover in the leadership that is spending this money.
Yeah, every
Like,
year.
so it's
Yeah.
important, I
That's
think.
true.
that
Yeah.
There is a changeover, so.
I'd like to see a report or a presentation of some sort. Not before we approve, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
just, let us know what's.
Yeah,
Where it went.
I don't know if this is relevant or not, but I have a bit of anxiety right now because those three that we have this evening are 43% of our overall grant budget. Just these three,
but it's June.
but it's
We're
it's
halfway
still
through the year.
43% of every year. So we have 35,000 in the budget, it's 43% of that. budget.
Just we would have last year as well. We still ended up with money left over.
yeah, but
It's
that's the big,
still a lot, it's a big
yeah, I agree, because the
dollar. value.
point is, we're not getting a lot of requests. If we start getting more requests, then
Then we have to look at.
we have to look at it and are you gonna go back to these guys and say, by the way, we're not gonna give you as much money?
Year over year, we've
Because we're
already
saying
committed
we're
for
committed to
43.
We're
5
committed to
years.
5
So
years.
We're saying for 5 years, 43% of this is.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's just
Well,
that,
that's-
it's just something for me, I'm just cautious or conscious, want to be conscious of that because that's a lot.
That was the intent of our grant policy though, was so that we could get these applications in,
For sure.
and we can budget properly for next year. So if we know these are there, if we get one in October that's asking for us to go above and beyond the budget, and we say for 2025, we will add it to the budget.
Right.
Yeah,
Or you'll
We're
discuss
allowed
it
to
at
look
budget
at it.
time and decide.
The
Yeah.
problem is if you commit for 5 years.
Right, that's the
you're
problem is
committed.
the term.
That's what I think
It's
that's.
the long
right.
term.
We are, because if somebody, they say we capped out our budget, if somebody came along with a request for 2,000 or 3,000. We might deny them for this year, but then next year when we go to do our budgets, we could certainly look at, how meaningful it is to our community and where we can find the money to.
can you refresh my memory? Was the 35,000 like just for the long-term grants and then there's still money for short-term ones?
Or 30,000.
It's 30?
30,000 was for the community grants, and the 5,000 was earmarked for the farmer's market, because you had already decided that.
Right, so we don't want to spend all 30 grand then on long-term.
So that's 50%. If it's only
So
30.
again,
Right.
if you look at the financial considerations, the town is 35,000 budgeted, so like 6,000 is already confirmed,
Right,
automatically done, confirmed.
okay,
We have 3,060 that we've already given out.
yeah,
That are smaller ones. And so this 15,000 that's here, doesn't mean that's what you gotta go with again.
Mhm.
But this, if you bring this in, it'll drop us down to 10,940,
oh, yeah, I'm just trying to track it in my head.
right? So then
Long-
you have that
33%
Mhm.
available.
Yeah. For the rest of the year.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Mhm. I need a spreadsheet.
I have.
That's what
Um, Let's move on to the next one for
Yeah.
Friends of the Mountain Hospital. They requested 5,000. Our recommendation is 500 per year for the 5-year commitment. The strategic plan alignment is to explore services and programs that for youth that include partnerships to enhance youth mental health and addiction services. The description that this request is, this is a request, we get a Friends of the Mountain Hospital one every year. So it's not like it's specifically for Salisbury, they mail them out to everybody for this Children's Priority Needs campaign. And it's just smaller multi-year confirmed contribution with a letter of agreement is stipulating for the campaign that they can request additional funds for specific projects. If they have a specific project over and above that, they could ask for more. That's an option that would be put in the agreement. As for the Friends of the Mountain Hospital, we've donated. For years, we donated, but it was like $50 a year. We did that for 6 or 7 years in the past, and then it and we donated a little bit more when they were putting on the extension of the.
Did they
But
ever come out and talk or?
not really, but they could, other than we did, the village gave money towards the hospice, which was not really Moncton Hospital, but
It was a separate
it was a
foundation.
separate foundation.
We also request money from the Lions Club as well. aren't
Like I
we?
said, it's a form that you get because we have in the past. So you
There's
get that-
there's many individuals from our community that use.
That have used it.
Use them often. I mean, I could get Greg to come up and do a presentation to the council.
And then the last one is the Salisbury Regional School. This is the 1,500 per year for a 5-year commitment. We're recommending the same. These are the annual bursaries that we've done over the years, and a few years ago, we added a third one. So, for many years, they just did 2. But now we have bursaries 3. Select the school selects them, the bursary award winner, I guess, would be recipient, yeah. Council can select specific perimeters for them if you want. We used to just ask for a student that's actually further in their education, but that's all we would put before. Oh, she's questioning.
Well, you have description 3 at 15.
Yeah, I noticed
But
that.
you only have, okay,
3
I
at
was like,
500.
okay.
3 at
Okay.
500 equaling, yeah.
Yeah, I'd be curious what my daughter's going through this right now, applying for everything, and when she inquired on the town and a few other ones, it was that they select them, you don't apply for them. I just don't know if that is a
Few years ago, they
good
used
approach or not.
it's just, they've changed it over the years. Years and years ago, they used to do it that you applied. And when it was the village, we asked for it to go to a village resident who's furthering their education, not necessarily someone who's not going to school, right? And that was all we required. They would pick through the names of the kids that are applying, and at one point, I think there was a counselor on that meeting, but that was a long time ago. And then they changed it all over, and my understanding is what they were doing is putting like a pool together and making sure that all the kids get as many as they can, instead of, let's say, one person getting them all. And anyway, they had like a committee or something that they decided, and we just continued to give them the amount and let them decide who gets it. But again, like, you can stipulate what you want it to go towards, if you want to separate it, if you want it bigger, if you want, it's up to you.
I think there needs to be an application. That's my opinion, because I think
But
children.
then if there's an application, then you'd have to, who's going to choose the child?
They can still choose. I don't think selecting a child is.
See, and I don't know how they did it for sure. I just know that.
Fair, in my
I
opinion.
think we
They
can
can-
ask for criteria on how they select, just so that we're aware of the process.
I do like it that not one person gets all of the honors.
I think
I
that's what
understand
happened, and I
you-
can't remember how many years ago, yeah.
Like, they must have qualifications over there, like,
Yeah.
I don't know though.
Just ask what they do.
Yeah, well, I don't think we want to manage it. We just want to know how.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
agree.
Let's not get into the weeds on that.
Yeah.
So.
We increased that probably 3 years ago, Diane,
say
4 years
2
ago.
or 3 years ago at least, yeah.
We did find, I mean, obviously costs have gone up.
And there's a lot of people who contribute, like, we started doing it with minor associations as well, doing grants for high school kids. Community's doing a lot there.
So the recommendation was that you approve the grants as we recommended, but Do you want to try to do motions for each one separately? That way you can choose the ones you want or you don't want versus one group
So,
stuff?
so do we have to do a motion or just give direction on this? Is this something that requires a motion in a regular council meeting?
Yeah.
It's a motion.
Yeah,
It is.
You're
You're directing us here.
We'll have to
right?
do each one separately. We've already indicated on one, we want more information.
Or we amend the motion to exclude one.
Right, that's might be easier, but. I
I
don't
don't
know
know if
if
we
anybody
need a
else-
motion, I
can we
guess it's
just make the,
direction.
You're basically given, again, this is a committee of the whole, so you can't make a motion.
That's right.
So your motion is actually just a direction, like a formal direction as to how you want us to proceed.
so basically, we can do that first part of that motion right up to begin agreement, well, agreement notifications with, and then we list the ones that we want, right?
Mhm.
So what about the anticipated request this fall as well from Eagles Soccer Club, Tri-County Search and Rescue
So again, these are ones that have come
Yeah.
in
later?
later that you,
So they would come in on an individual.
Yeah, and I know like,
we would usually discuss the budget time for next
the
year.
service
unless it's
commission's gonna look at something with Tri-County Search and Rescue, to do more on a regional level.
But,
That's a good idea.
but like I said, if there's money left over.
Yeah.
Maybe you do want to give them some
Mhm.
Yeah,
this
we'll know
year,
that later.
or.
Yeah.
You can discuss it during
But
budget
these
time.
are, I mean, this is strictly right now.
This is kind of just basically giving a heads up that we received those requests as well.
So,
So do you want to try it that way?
Well, let's just say what we're yay and nay on. Like,
So what,
watershed is out for sure.
Yeah.
Were all the other ones okay?
that's fine with all of it.
I think the other ones were okay. Are we?
I'm good with all of them except the watershed alliance.
Yeah.
Like that,
I am too.
with the amounts as well, or do
I
you
am
want?
asking a question on the amount for the school,
Mhm.
because I think that that's low.
Yes, well, that's why I brought up.
Really?
But that we give so much to the other little things that pop up throughout the year that I like to be able to have money set aside for when they wanna go to. Like,
Yes, we've already.
you know what I mean? Like,
I
we-
support a lot of kids from this.
We had a couple other requests from.
We had Renaissance.
Programs without school.
Right.
Asian.
We gave almost as much for Renaissance as we had for grants, we gave almost as much for the Renaissance Leadership Conference as we are for bursaries.
I just like keeping our options open for when the little things pop up for them.
I think that's important too, because you're probably,
Yeah, I'm just looking at all the other money.
Yeah.
You could,
It's
you
like when
could
you
add
look at,
another
we're
one.
giving $500 towards somebody's future, their education.
Yeah.
I just feel
Yeah,
like
it
it's,
was 300 5 years ago.
I just feel like it's not, but yet,
What do you want, 1,000 each? I think that's.
You want to just do two
I-
bursaries at a whatever, or you want to do, like, you can change it up?
Having the three, I don't think we should cut one out,
No,
but I mean, we're giving other money for recreation, a ton of it, when you look at it in comparison. That $500 to go to school today
Well,
is,
That's why I brought up, we had to raise it. from
like, I would think that $1,000 is
3 at 1,000?
needed.
I'd be fine.
Three at
Well, I'm looking, again, I kind of look at $5,000 for hockey.
Yeah.
And again, I love hockey, but we have.
Those are needed, those sports are
The
needed,
three, so three for hockey,
community needs, they need that.
but it does send a powerful message on education.
Yeah, I think I'm good with 1,000 each, but I'd like a little bit more say of what the criteria is for the student that they select. I don't want to pick the student,
Mhm.
Yes.
but I want to ensure that it's
To that stipulation.
Is it merit based? Is it?
somebody that's going into political science.
That's
Yeah.
fun.
But you
Or
know,
kid needs
Yeah.
money.
Run away. Use this for something else.
I like putting, I like having students put a little effort into it. That's my point on the whole application thing. Like when we do bursaries for the youth associations, we require them to submit an application and it puts some effort into their education, right? And I don't know.
you just can't be tied to that, I don't think, because we don't want to have any,
Yeah, we don't want to be.
we
the
have to
ones
be
taking-
impartial,
They can do it,
right?
they can do it. They can look at the
Yeah.
applications. I can't imagine a group of people sitting in a room and hand picking who gets these.
Yeah, but the group of people are their teachers who know.
That's right, and they're the people that should
They don't
be,
know why they need it, who needs it, who's financially burdened, who isn't.
So
they
you're,
know that stuff.
But
They
they would know that more than
They
we're gonna know
absolutely
in an
know that
application.
stuff. They have,
I can
For
tell
the
you not
most part.
necessarily, right? Like,
Okay, let's,
okay,
so
could-
what do you want for the bursary?
I'm suggesting 1,000 each. And maybe
So 3 at a
3 at
1,000.
3 at
1,000.
1,000. And also, to Jason's point,
We should stipulate.
Stipulations
some
of
the
some
criteria.
sort.
Could it just be that they're furthering their education?
Yeah,
Well,
Like it was
I
before?
took that for granted
I
that
did
that
too,
was
yeah.
a minimum
I did too, but
stipulation.
it wasn't. Yeah.
Serious?
Yeah, but why not have something to the effect, one
Just
university,
something
one
that's-
college, one,
Oh, absolutely. It
Right.
has to be somebody that's furthering their education. That's what this is for.
Well, that's
It's
what I
to
said.
help.
Maybe it could be for student council members. Cause we're like a council.
yeah, but then we're basically
Like a
selecting, because their student council is pretty small.
Uh,
It is,
There's
only
But,
45
yeah, like to John's point, like it could be 2 bursaries at 1,000 for kids going to or going to university, and 2 500 bursaries for kids going to community college.
You know how much it is to go to community college?
Yeah,
3,500
It's a lot of money.
community college?
it changed.
It is like, oh my gosh, I can't get
know a
over it.
little bit about that.
It's a lot less than
fill in the form here in a second?
For 1 year to take a trade.
Go to community college?
Just
Oh, yes.
a lot of demand. right?
It's crazy. Oh, no, it's.
Well, that's why I think we, again, I'm not gonna, I'm not.
Maybe we could direct you to
I think
come
we've
up
gotta be
with
very
some.
careful on picking occupations or putting whatever.
Yeah.
That does change right
I
now.
think we should,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
let's
changes
let's
year to
not
year.
overcomplicate it.
Furthering education.
Yeah, they need to be furthering their education. For sure. And
Well, we can work on, can we not?
Yeah,
we can
Diane, you
able to
can-
come through and work with the administration just on getting criteria that they use today.
they may already be.
They may already have it.
But they're gonna need it soon because graduation was
Yes.
this month, so,
yeah,
and we don't have a regular council meeting in.
Well, it may not,
Set
we
the
may not be able
amount.
to apply any criteria this year.
I don't think we should apply.
Because
criteria.
they may have
Yeah,
already
whatever they've been doing in the
known.
past for this year, but then going
I
forward.
think moving
But are
forward.
these giving out giving them this year?
That's what we're
Yeah.
asking.
Yeah.
Well, then we,
won't have another council meeting until after.
graduation's on the 19th of June.
Maybe we could just ask them what the criteria is that they use to select these bursaries. And maybe when they come back, it'll be acceptable to us.
You can ask, to me, you just let it happen for this year.
If the criteria is we drew their name out of a hat, the next
Yeah, we
thing
can-
I'd like that to
Yeah,
change.
I think we can stipulate that it's somebody who's
furthering their.
furthering their
Yes.
education.
Yeah.
Like, that's a
Yeah.
simple,
Yeah.
straightforward,
Imagine them not doing that, but
Yeah.
that's just my.
Yeah,
for $1,000 grant, they probably would require that. I would assume
Yes.
that's a minimum requirement.
right.
We could just ask the question.
That's fine. then.
We're assuming, but can you confirm?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
this is what it's for.
So how do you want this resolution to sound, Diane?
This is gonna sound weird. I brought it up already, but I'm gonna bring it up in a different context. So if we have, let's say 45 graduates, 20 of them are furthering their education, just for an easy number. And all we're saying is that they have to be going to the next level of schooling. How would those teachers be picking out of the 20?
I don't know how they pick.
Well, however
I
they.
know that they put together a community, a committee,
Great, but
and they select based on
I
what they
still
know the
think-
students.
I would prefer they apply for it.
Okay, but
the school
if they
decides.
apply, they're applying to that community who's already made their
Yeah.
decision.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
I
it
agree.
really,
It still puts out.
the only time that I think you want an application is if we're making that decision.
Yeah, cause you
Yeah.
can't say, I don't think we can ask that they have to apply and that we're gonna make the school
Yeah.
pick from that
Yeah, we
application.
don't want to.
It would have to come here. It would
Other
have to
than-
come
I'm
here.
torn on this, because I totally agree with what Councillor Cole is saying, but I do know in the past from watching, and I have no idea how they do it. But I've watched some individuals that have done some bursaries that probably didn't realize the opportunities that were there for them. And I'm assuming that was coming from some instructors that knew the individual needed help.
Yeah.
And therefore did it, so I don't know. I think we have to find out what they're doing at the school first, and then, I mean, for this year.
Leave it as is. for
Leave
this
it
year.
For this year, I think.
Leave
you
it
leave
to the
it.
wording, and maybe
Like
year,
for us.
year two, in year two, we would like to work with them on the process.
Change the dollar value, right?
For this
Yeah.
year, we can't give them, we can't do what we just said, because we're gonna miss the cutoff, we're gonna miss graduation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This won't be approved.
We'd have to keep the previous amounts.
And then next year we'll do it.
We can up it for next year.
So,
Oh, you're saying we're not gonna be able to vote for the $1,000.
Right.
We won't be able to give them $1,000 this year, cause we're not ratifying it before graduation. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Right. June 19th is graduation.
but we have no motion on the floor, like, we have no mechanism for them to get that bursary, even the $500 each. Until we.
Oh, we
ratify.
had budget amount.
we're able,
We've done it for the last so many years, it was in the budget.
we're able with the thresholds to be, we're able to.
Be able to change it.
What is the threshold?
1,000, isn't it? 1,000? For sure.
Possible.
Pretty sure it's
Feel
1,000.
like it was, yeah. Yep.
We do 3 separate. things.
Can he come in now? Because we've agreed on the hockey thing. That's the conflict, right?
Okay, well,
Does not want-
let's put the hockey, let's vote the hockey one separately.
yes.
Oh, okay.
That's, he can't be in here for
Okay,
that.
so-
Okay, so I'm gonna say something and then you guys tell me if it's the right one.
Okay.
So, the council approve, or I'll move, the council approve the grant for Petticodiac Salisbury Minor Hockey Association as recommended and direct administration to begin agreement, notifications with the proponent for ratification at a future meeting of council. So moved.
Second. Okay.
The motion? All in favor?
Aye.
So council or clerk's office, if we direction on that, we can ask. Let's get you.
Yep.
Yep.
Help us.
Good job.
Thorn
Yes.
plant, wasn't it?
It doesn't.
No.
We both
agree.
I had William, so.
I know.
Help us. We don't know what to do.
Oh, it's not that.
No.
One is done, yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay, so we've moved on the one with the conflict on.
Okay.
The other area we have with the high school bursaries, we had a couple of things. We did feel that the amount was lower than what we'd like to have.
Okay.
I would like to increase it to $1,000 per.
Okay.
They went through it separately. So 1,500, they're wondering if they can increase it. But then can they increase it without an actual motion because we're at.
Yeah, because we're just getting direction. Yeah, so we can, because
The
the,
timing between graduations.
oh,
Yeah, graduation.
oh, right, I see what you mean.
Mm.
You were saying about the threshold, isn't that?
Yeah, no, the threshold for the grant, but the,
Have a spend threshold.
yeah, but not out of the
No.
grant.
Can we put it in the resolution that we want this to be effective immediately?
I would just say if they give us direction, because technically, so what do we want to increase it to? $1 million? What is
No.
it?
Million each, yeah.
$1 million. 1,000 each?
Yeah.
So it's a difference of 500. So we can say as long, so yes, do a separate motion for that just to be safe, because it's under what we.
It's a difference of 1,500.
Yeah, but each, yeah, each.
Yeah.
Because the threshold for an unbudgeted is 8,000, I think, in the council CAO policy.
So you-
It's just that you're giving us direction, so that's what we will do.
Yeah.
So when it comes back at council.
Yeah, so we'll give clear direction.
And is that every year for a multi-year piece for the school?
5 years. The
They-
only stipulation, we would like to have some direction on how it's selected in the future.
Should we do that just as a one-off for this year and then?
We could, I think like that's, then we could actually write it tighter for, we
Well,
want,
no, it will be a multi-year agreement, so we want.
we just want some information from the school on how it's being selected.
Okay.
And then maybe we might want to change that to add more
It'll be, so when we,
stipulation.
are there preferences to what the direction is? Because we can do that in the agreement and say it's to be awarded to students who A, B, C.
Well, Councilor Colwell talked about the idea of this.
It's like, don't bring me up.
No, I know, we should chat it out. I mean, whether there's an app, we don't know what the process is today.
Right.
We don't know if individuals apply for it, whether, the committee brings them forward. So we have very little information around that on how the selections are taking place on the criteria that are met. Or do a structure just pick somebody, do they apply?
So there's no applications. I 100% know that because my daughter inquired on it.
It's the same with like Lions Club,
They
same
select
thing.
them.
Yeah, if there's a panel that chooses them, say Lions Club, the towns.
Based
There's a
on what
few that are in
criteria is
there.
the question.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure.
We assume that they have to be furthering their education.
Could we
Yes,
just,
yeah.
could we just stipulate that?
What do you want to stipulate? That's the thing, like. we can
Furthering
give-
their education, for sure.
Yeah, number one.
Do we wanna ensure that they have a financial need?
That's where applications are, like, for me, I've mentioned applications 3 times. I'm not gonna, I won't go against the majority, but I just feel like nobody, like, there are people out there that you have no idea what situation they're in. They can look and present themselves perfectly fine and be in a very bad home life at home and nobody could know. And I don't know that just selecting is fair.
Then does council want to, so I think historically it's been given to the school for them to administer.
Mhm.
Does council like,
No.
No,
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 no.
no.
Okay, so then if,
We do not want to be part of
No.
the.
And I'm not a big fan of, you know, the whole financial need thing, because then you start getting into all kinds of.
Yes,
Right.
the
At
school's
the
not
end of
gonna
the
look
day,
at
no,
the school
No.
could just
No.
pick whoever it is that
Deserving.
Yeah.
is deserving.
Yeah.
And if we start getting into all that other kind of stuff, I mean,
Gets subjective and it gets hard.
yeah, exactly, you're absolutely
Yeah.
right.
Do we want to ensure that the person's community minded,
Say that again?
that the person is community minded, further in their education and demonstrates community pride or spirit?
Volunteers or something.
but then you're limiting it again, like,
Mhm.
it's
I think-
kind of like adding a criteria that your marks have to be high,
That's
Yeah.
fair.
like, you know,
I think we
it's
should
the
ask
same
how,
thing.
how they do it, and
That's
we
fair.
should put
Yeah.
some stipulation in the agreement that we have the willingness to sit down with them to change it going forward.
but it's gonna be, you're gonna open up a 5-year agreement, so it will be, no. I hope it's.
That was the question. So do they just do a motion for this year, then look at the 5-year next year?
I
instead
would
of doing
say,
it this
no,
year?
because you're just giving us direction to bring the agreement, so in the motion, just say that we'll amend, that you're directing staff to amend it to 1,000 per candidate, or per recipient this year. And then we'll go to the school, we negotiate the agreement, and we'll say, how is it, maybe they have criteria, maybe
Yeah.
it's this.
Yeah,
In which case, then we'll put that in the agreement, and council can discuss the agreement specifically and the criteria when it comes.
But that won't
Can you
limit the
make it-
$1,000 going to
No.
them this year.
No.
Yeah,
We'll-
that was
we're-
what they were, but
no.
will they still get the money this year in time for
Yeah,
graduation?
we'll just say that it's non-budget
It's
expense.
probably a well question.
So can we,
So we're
But
doing
we-
them all separately now.
so if we get,
Okay.
if we get a motion,
Do you want me to word this?
Yep,
Yeah, let me do it.
same thing as you did before.
That
except-
No, I'll move that council approve the grant for the Salisbury Regional School in the amount of 3 bursaries at $1,000 each. And direct administration to begin agreement notifications with the proponent for ratification at a future meeting of council. So moved.
questions, so seconded by, sorry,
Oh, yeah.
Councilor, Deputy Mayor Glenn, questions, on the motion? All in favor? Motion carried.
That was great.
yeah. that's one.
No,
No,
no.
we can actually bundle the other ones in except
Oh.
for one,
So can
Can
I,
we?
why can't we?
I'm gonna say the names. I'm gonna do it
Yeah.
and then you guys tell me if it's okay. I'll move that council approve the grant for Friends of the Moncton Hospital and the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 31 as recommended and direct administration to begin agreement notifications with the proponents for ratification at a future meeting of council.
Moved by Councilor Thorne, seconded by Councilor Bannister. Questions to the motion? No questions to the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
So on the last area of production for council, can I get a motion to ask the river keepers to come back for a presentation?
The Watershed Alliance?
Yeah.
Or-
So do I need to say that?
No,
Or is that just direct?
was it in the motion for the first one?
No,
Okay, we're
it's been
good.
That's
excluded
just
from
directed
all.
that we're.
Hey, you're
looking at
good.
the-
Training us well. We
Yeah,
have
we're
to slice and dice this.
Okay.
Look at that. I mean, we did spend a lot of time talking about $11,000, but here we are.
What's the story on the anticipated and the cemeteries?
Oh, yeah.
So that's in the CRF, so with our recommendation right now, what do you mean, did you talk about that yet or?
No,
We
No.
didn't.
So our piece is Councillor Dykstra, wondered about cemeteries. We looked, a few municipalities have a separate grant program. Cemeteries meet our current one and we have multi-years agreements with one. So our recommendation is just tell cemeteries, like any other organization.
Would you like reach out to them? Like, I think that's a nice thing to do because
Yes.
they're all pretty much run by volunteer,
Yeah. All the
organizations.
organizations are too, but so generally we
Right.
do standard stuff, but it's the same thing as the block parties. Like you're not gonna get everybody, but we can
Right.
find out the cemeteries. We have a list of them. A lot of them
I think that would be.
don't have
nice.
public, like I don't know how we're gonna find them.
I
Like,
don't
we-
know,
Oh,
but they're
oh,
like,
Don't worry.
The people that dig the graves, they would be,
True, we could, okay, true.
because most
Actually, the.
cemeteries have
Yeah, that's why we could.
a specific person
Yeah.
that digs,
Yes, if you don't.
and so that's
So
the
we will
person
send
that's
that.
going
The
to.
council wants to reach out.
Yeah, we don't need a
Make
motion
sure
for
that
that.
they're
We
aware.
don't need a motion.
Yeah.
And I would like to throw it out there that I would like to see that grant expanded for 500,000.
say that again?
I would like to throw it, that I'd like to see the
For Pine
grant
Hill?
expanded from 500,000 for all cemeteries.
Well, we have a multi-year agreement with Pine Hill.
I understand.
council approved that last year, so we would have to, that would need to be a motion at a council meeting to, like, we can't open up the agreement without it.
Write it up and all.
Cemeteries are in.
Oh,
There's
30
a
or
lot.
40, I suspect.
You wanna do 1,000 each?
Yes.
Show me that.
So, the cemetery next to my place spends $5,700 on mowing.
Wow. Wouldn't it be nice if the
Just
farmer
mow it.
next door would just mow it for them?
Put the cows at the pasture.
They're talking about goats.
So, okay, so.
Back it
Right,
up.
So I'll just throw grenades. This is-
Do we have the presidential?
Yes.
The only other thing on here was we discussed about the Eagle Soccer in the Tri-County, that this would come during budget.
Future, yes,
Mhm.
That was it.
yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Okay, with that, do I have, we are now moving to a closed session, land 68 Local Governance Act. Do I have a motion to go into close?
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Thorne, seconded by Councillor Bannister. Questions to the motion? Questions to the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Reminded. Motion. Now back into the regular council session, moving on to item number 6, mayor and councillor statements / inquiries. I have nothing to. With that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Thorne, seconded by Councillor Lenis. All in favor?
Aye.
Not reminded.